Hello everyone, welcome to my Nature Diaries. It's great to have you here with me today, and I'm going to be sharing with you 3 tips for you to get started, beginner tips for nature journaling, and also to encourage you if you already are nature journaling. But first, I want to share this. Hello everyone, I have a quick announcement to make before I start this video, and that is I am collaborating with the lovely Laura Watson Art. Laura makes beautiful botanical paintings, a lot of them in the style of A Diary of the Edwardian Lady. So you're definitely going to want to check out her channel. Let's listen really quickly about where she's journaling. It's a very interesting place, and a little bit more about what her channel is about. Laura Watson lives on Vancouver Island and features wildflowers of the West Coast in her nature journal and botanical painting videos. Her channel focuses on sharing practical tips to help you become a more confident botanical painter in less time so you can keep up with the changing seasons in your nature journal. I highly encourage you to head on over to Laura Watson Art after you watch this video and listen to her tips for nature journaling. I think you're really going to enjoy her video and her content. And make sure to give her a shout out and a hello if you're watching from my Nature Diaries. Okay, let's get started with the video. My first tip is simplicity is key. This is something we really should always keep in mind when we are out nature journaling or if we're thinking about starting our own nature journal. I believe that nature journaling should first of all and foremost be fun, and that means simple. So I have a cheap watercolor book, a mechanical pencil, and that's really all I need to get started. I do suggest using a wire bound like this when you are in the field. It's just so much easier to use. And you can see I'm even laying it on the ground to make the sketch. The next part of that simple is to keep your sketches as simple as possible as well. There's really no need to make anything super complicated. It's more about capturing simple shapes just to get the idea of what we're trying to recreate from the flowers or plants that we're looking at. I always remember to take reference photos as well so I can supplement these once I'm back in the studio. Taking my simple sketches now, I'm going to use a fountain pen here with a fine tip and also with permanent ink. All of my materials are listed in the description box. What I love about a pencil drawing is the flexibility that I have to be able to make changes in the drawing once I use my fountain pen. For example, I drew the leaves of these 2 flowers way too close, and so I'm going to go ahead and erase this and recreate it in a different way. I was also able to gather some samples because if you know what these flowers are, they pretty much grow in most people's yards here. So I went ahead and gathered a little bouquet to help me be able to further compose this simple drawing. The beauty of simplicity is the idea that you're not having to push yourself to look like somebody else or to be like somebody else exactly. Simplicity to me also reminds me of childlikeness, and there's something very powerful about just going with the flow, so to speak, when we are drawing in our nature journals. I really didn't have an idea what I was going to do for the composition for this particular one, but it came together so beautifully just because I relaxed and was actually having a lot of fun creating it. I just knew I wanted to have some different views and also some space to put some writing and also jot down some notes. Journaling doesn't even have to take that long. It really can be something that you grab some sketches one day and then maybe another day or so you work on the drawings in your studio. The violets reminded me of ribbons and the ribbons reminded me of banners, and I just went ahead and freehanded these banners, but you could definitely get a stencil if you really like this look. I thought it was perfect for this layout. I also love to make detailed nature journals as well, and I love to use really good watercolor paper. There's no rules. I guess that's the point, is to keep it simple and not get bound by thinking that the rules have to be obeyed. Otherwise, it's not going to really be a nature journal. I think you'll end up loving it. Tip number 2 is to be flexible. Whenever you're working with the outdoors, being flexible is of the utmost, but also being flexible with the places that you might be thinking that you could only nature journal in. How about if you could nature journal from somebody's backyard, like a neighbor, or you could just see something that is in your park, like these little wildflower weeds, basically. These are things that you could journal as well. It's really the idea of being flexible about your subjects and content in your nature journal. These flowers right here, coltsfoot, they may be considered very ugly by some people, but I've always wanted to journal them. And that's another thing, is to be flexible about what other people think. Go ahead and journal the things that interest you, whether it's the most attractive or not. Flexibility also helps when we're outside drawing in nature. I think I did this little sketch in about 30 seconds because I didn't have time to really do much more. Instead of getting upset because I didn't have the time, I just decided to be flexible and draw the best that I could for those 30 seconds that I had. Again, I took really great reference photos, but I'll never forget the memory when I look at this spread that I was actually there when I captured the gist of the scene. And as you can see, when I get back to the studio, it's a pretty rough sketch. However, that's okay because I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, and I'm just glad I had, again, the chance to take a few notes and draw some basic shapes down. I will definitely have times where I'll be able to sit and take my time and draw as much as I want to in the outdoors, but whenever I don't have the time, I'm not going to think that I can't still nature journal. Whenever we journal things in nature, there are so many textures and colors and shapes and so many organic forms that we're able to draw from and learn from as well. I still have a lot of room to grow in this flexibility arena, but I am looking forward to it as I am challenging myself to nature journal things that I might not have wanted to nature journal before. A huge benefit to being flexible is the fact that you will be able to journal anything, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. There won't be anything necessarily that will have to stop you or try to talk yourself out of journaling or painting that particular item or plant. Just like flexibility works great in life, it also can be great in our art practice, no matter what kind of art we draw. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. It means so much to me. And also follow me over at Instagram at my_Nature Diaries for more nature art. Tip number 3 is to do this one thing. And what that is again, very simple, and that is to not limit yourself when it comes to your art in your nature journal. In other words, it's not thinking that you can't use colored pencils, maybe like I did here, instead of watercolor. A nature journal is a great place to be able to learn and explore different ways of creativity, like this interactive flip-up book that I made for one of my spreads. You can watch that video here on my channel. I also made these specimen cards to include in my tree nature journal. The sky is the limit when it comes to what we can put into our nature journals. It is totally up to you. Nature and creativity, it's a perfect invitation for all of us to really be creative, as so many of you already are. I would really love to hear your tips on what gets you motivated or inspired to create or make art, to nature journal as well. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. That helps me out so much. Also, do not forget to check out Laura Watson Art. You can find the link in the description. And remember, you are so amazing and creative. Till next time, see you later. Bye.